Hi, welcome to another episode of Frost Bites with Kelly Frost. I am Kelly Frost, and we had our wonderful guest today, Niki Campbell, and our co-host today was Jessica Rebholz. Niki gave us so many phenomenal nuggets of information. She has the Flourish Group, and she was talking to us about how she started her organization, all of the volunteerism that she does, and we are ready to jump in and help her in any aspect that we can, and we're going to give you that information as well. So stick around. Here comes Niki. Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Frost Bites with Kelly Frost. I am Kelly Frost, and we are here with Niki Campbell and our co-host, Jessica Rebholz. Let's just dive right in.
Yes, let's do it.
Thank you so much for being here today. We really appreciate it. And it's like such a great day for you.
It is.
We're kind of excited to have you here, and then we're going to spend tonight with you as well.
Yeah.
Because you're sort of a big deal.
Well, today I am. Because I'm here every day. I mean, I'm on Frostbites. What bigger deal is that?
Well, tonight you're going to be speaking and being honored at the Pittsburgh Magazine Women in Business event.
Yes.
So
yes.
You are one of four
Yeah.
beautiful, intelligent, kind,
amazing,
passionate women.
Wow. It's a lot.
Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
It's a great look too.
Oh, thank you.
We
Thank
are
you.
so proud of you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I mean, really, that's wonderful. And look at this shirt too.
I know. That's
How
why I said it's a
cool.
great
I
look.
almost wore it, and then I was like, oh, don't be that person.
Oh no! I mean, really, so proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
You know,
thank you.
We've known you for what, couple years now,
Yeah.
and you keep getting better and better in every aspect.
Well, that's the plan, right? You don't want to go backwards.
Very true. Very true.
Keep moving forward.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
So tell us about tonight. Are you excited?
I am very excited. You don't go into business thinking, oh, I want to win awards, or even stop as an entrepreneur to even think about, are there awards? Should I be doing this? So what I love about, the people I have found in my life is that somebody will always nudge you and say, like, you should put your name in the hat, or I'll nominate you. And that's what happened. And so it was a dear friend who was like, you should do this.
You can say who it was.
Okay. It was Holly Geithner.
We love
Yeah.
Holly.
And she had won it before, and, she is a great role model, and she's like, I'll do it. I'll nominate you. And I was like, okay, not thinking. Like, I was like, whatever. This is, did you see the other people? I mean, they're impressive. And so
As are you.
I am very honored, and I'm very excited, because it's difficult to change your career in the middle of your life. And, I've had my head down working for 7 years in this new career. And so it's nice to get a little pat on the back every once in a while.
Yeah, absolutely. So you said entrepreneur. So, you did kind of dive into that.
I sure
so
did.
you went from, the whole corporate life.
Yeah.
And then you jumped in and just decided that you were going to make everything your own.
Yep. Yeah.
So where did the name of your company come from?
So I guess to talk about that, it's really about my story and the reason I even left my job, because I loved my job. I had a wonderful job. I worked as a speechwriter for McDonald's. I love the company. I will fight for it. It was a great career. My health started to really decline in 2014. And so I had to decide, what are you going to do? Are you going to step back into a position that, doesn't have all the things that you love? Or is this a time to kind of reinvent yourself? So I did that. And as I was going back to school, I mean, this is a completely different career, going back to school and all of those things that you do to be, the expert that you want to be, I realized I loved coaching people. I loved working with people. And what I loved the most was working with people who were like me, like too stressed out, too busy to find time to take care of themselves. Mostly executives, a lot of business owners, people who had families and community commitments. I mean, the two of you are not clients, but you are the example, right? You're juggling all of this stuff, and you might not have the time to think about your wellness. So that's where it kind of started. And so when I was thinking of a name, I was like, what, because everybody uses like thriving or, there's some key buzzwords, and I wanted to stay away from that. And so in the research, and I worked with a branding company, we talked about what it means to flourish. So the definition of flourish is to have all of the right elements in place to really grow. So if you think about a plant, and I am terrible with plants, but if you think about a plant, if you give it some minimal attention, right? You water it, maybe put it by the window, it will survive. It will get by. But to flourish, if you give it, plant food and you make sure it has the right amount of sun and you're really diligent about watering it and you're making sure you get the right plant for the right climate, then it really flourishes, right? And so that just hit me, and I thought, that's what people are missing. They're surviving. They're giving themselves the minimum to get by. Mm-hmm. How can I help them create that atmosphere and environment where all the things are working for them, including their career? Mm-hmm. It's not about, taking a step back or not doing as much. These are ambitious people I work with. I was like, that's it. That's the name. And knew that I wanted to expand it eventually. So into kind of different divisions, if you will. So, the Flourish Group was really kind of the best way to communicate what I was doing. So sorry, long story, but.
No, I love that.
Yeah. Well, and then if you talk to plants, they also do much better. So that's the coaching aspect, right?
Sure.
You're talking to them.
That's right. Right. And we need that in our lives. And, so many people just, like I said, head down doing the work and succeeding immensely in every professional part of their, their lives. And they just look at you like, I haven't slept more than 4 hours in the last 10 years. So it's those types of things. And it's basic stuff. And it's things that people know. They just need the tools to do it. Mm-hmm. How do I do it? So
yeah. Well, you said you went back to school.
Yes.
So Slippery Rock, is that right?
No. So I graduated from Slippery Rock initially.
So I was reading something about that in your whole household.
Yes, basically.
Yeah. I was like, wait a minute. It's like the whole place. Everybody went.
Yes. My mom graduated from there. At one point, my mom and dad both worked for the university. Then my mom, she was the one that worked there, so I got free tuition, which was great. Mm-hmm. So she went there and got an undergrad and then a master's while I was, high school and college age. So my mother and I were both English writing majors. We had a class together.
That is amazing.
It was, and I wasn't bothered by it.
Oh, I love
this.
Like
at that age. And she's a really cool person. So she was cool then. And so people thought it was great. So yes, she went there. I met my husband there. He obviously went there. And then our daughter went there. I have an uncle and an aunt who went there. Like it's a weird kind of thing. But
I mean, it's not weird. It's just like a family tradition.
Yeah. Do you have a stock of bumper stickers for the alum? Well, I just have to ask.
I'm just waiting for my building. Like, when are they going to name a building?
I mean,
when am I getting Campbell Hall?
Like, is green your favorite color?
It is.
See?
It is.
I mean, your company is green.
Yes.
Talk about plants.
That's where it came from.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Chlorophyll.
Yes. It's all coming together for me.
Yeah.
Yes. So that was my original education and loved it. I still am very active with the communications department. I serve on their advisory committee and do a lot of work with them.
And then you have spoken there too,
right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. To the exercise science, which looking back now, the girl who had to take chemistry twice in her first round of college to now have 2 science degrees 20 some years later, it's really kind of ironic. I mean, I do chuckle. I go onto campus at Slippery Rock and I'm like, I can't even remember where the science building was. But now I'm coming back and speaking to future exercise scientists. So
yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, it is really great. But yeah, I'm an education junkie. Like I I would just be a professional student if I could make that happen.
A lot of people feel that way.
I love it. Yeah. So then I went to CCAC to get my dietetics degree. I can't say enough good things about CCAC. I can't. That program is amazing. And then a master's in health and human performance. So I said I was going to be done with all the education by the time I turned 50. We were returning from my graduation in Kentucky for my master's like 20 days before my 50th birthday. So I was like right under the line.
It's
there.
really hard to believe that you're 50.
I'm going to be 52. Yeah.
Wow. We try to tell the truth on this podcast.
That's what happens when you flourish.
Yeah.
See how great she looks?
Hydrated. And
Right.
I told you I had 8 hours of sleep last night.
Which, I mean, that's unheard of in my household.
It is.
She gets plenty of sleep. I don't know.
7.5. That's all I can do. If it's
7 to
anything
9.
more, we're done.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a good look.
And that's truly, there's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah.
The 7 to 9 is the optimal amount.
We'll get you there. Don't worry.
And you are.
Yeah,
I
we-
wish. Yeah.
We will.
If I had my own bedroom, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another
I have a
podcast.
snorer.
Yeah.
He doesn't like it when I talk about him, but we won't say who's
They
snoring.
all
Yeah.
snore.
We're not sure who. Somebody's snoring.
They all snore.
So you do so much in your life. So you're talking about, busy women and, working and family and obligations, but you also do a lot of volunteerism, right?
I do. I try to be involved as I can be. And I do preach, setting boundaries and really aligning your work, your volunteer work, or what you spend your free time doing, aligning it with your values and aligning it with things that are important to you. So yes, I try to look for opportunities to help other women, whether that is through supporting domestic violence prevention programs, to women in business, just being a person that really supports women in whatever stage of life or time of need there might be. Food insecurity is another really important topic for me. I did a practical experience with 412 Food Rescue. And if you don't think it's happening here, it's happening here. It's happening everywhere. And food is not a luxury. Food is a right. We have a right to be well fed, and anyone going without it's just not acceptable. So food insecurity, and then the animals, right? The dogs, the animal rescues, and really anything that helps those animals that are in kill shelters, or any way I can kind of support that. So those are my 3 things. And I have great organizations I belong to, like Peel and the Women's Leadership Council with the United Way.
Love Lemon Popish.
Isn't she the best? She is the absolute best. So yeah, I don't know. It's like a vibe for me. Like I've gone to lots of things, and there's, I would never say anything badly about any organization, but when you know, right? Like you just get the vibe, and those are your people.
Yeah.
I think as you age, you kind of start to really understand who you are and who your group is going to be, who those birds are that you actually want to fly with. And when you walk in a room, you do understand it. You do feel it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally understand what that is. But the 412 Food Rescue, when I was looking into that, that's perfect for you. I mean, when you volunteered for them, I know most people that just volunteer or volunteers, or they have specific things they're doing with them. Is it different for you because of your background and what you do for a living?
It is. So I've both volunteered for them and I've worked for them. They've had grant programs for nutrition education. So one of the things about food insecurity, and if you ever hear, the Greater Pittsburgh Food Bank talk about this, it's not enough to just donate canned goods. There are people who don't have can openers. There are homeless people who you can't open a can. So it's a great thought. The intentions are there. The other part of it is we have a lot of privilege as people who are not food insecure to talk about eating healthy. And we put a lot of shame. There's a lot of societal shame on, families who are struggling and are getting their groceries at Dollar General, or, eating a lot of fast food. When you need to feed your children and you don't have the money, like I get real fired up about this.
You do what you got to do.
You do what you got to do. And if it's the,
Dollar
the dollar menu,
Yep, 100%.
then shut the hell up.
Yep.
I'm keeping my children fed. It like the hair on the back of my neck is like,
I have goosebumps.
Yeah, it is. So the other part of it is, 412 Food Rescue wants to bring healthy food to individuals, right? But if you've never had a head of cabbage, what are you going to do with that? You don't know what to do with that. You might throw it away. It might not end up being consumed. So we worked on, in partnership with a UPMC grant, we created videos, like how to,
Prepare food.
Yes, healthy, simple, few ingredients, few steps with, minimal equipment, right? Like we're not saying you have to spiralize a zucchini, right? Like, right? Chop it up.
Do we have a pot?
Yes.
Do we have a knife?
Pot? Do you have a knife? That is sometimes the reality, a lot of times. And so we did some of that. But during my, so when I was at CCAC in the dietetics program, I did I think it was 3 months. It was during COVID. I worked in their kitchen in Millvale. And so, 3 days a week for 8 hours a day, taking big donations. So big company, food companies, Giant Eagle, some of the local ones would say, we have a pallet of cantaloupe. And it would show up and we would be like, okay, what are we going to make this week? To then take to low-income senior homes, the Prasad Center, a lot of local organizations that are feeding people. And it was the most fun I've ever had cooking, because you were like, I've got a pallet of cantaloupe and 3 cans of this, and what are we doing this week, right?
Yep.
And got to learn in a commercial kitchen, how to feed people and not waste food. That's the other part of it. How much food we throw away? 40% of landfills are food.
That's just incredible.
It's disgusting. And there are people starving. And I'm like, why? So anyway, as you can tell, very, very passionate about that and the work that they do, and all of the even just the small food pantries in like a local church. Like you never know who just needs just to get by until the next paycheck.
Right. So we live in South Park, and there was a church that had a food pantry, and they'd been there. I think it was Meals on Wheels.
No, yeah, maybe. No, that was the one. That was Meals on Wheels in South Park. There was one in Finleyville that actually got evicted.
Well, they were in South Park. Yeah.
Oh,
it was
I
in
think I
South
saw
Park.
it on the news.
On the news,
Yeah.
yes.
So it's 2 streets from my home, and that church, I guess, was bought out or something was going on, but they were using that building to house whatever they were. Something happened. I'm not sure what the exact details are, but they were asked to leave.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, how can you ask an organization like that that is feeding hungry people?
Doing so good.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, they were busy. It's not as if they had no clients.
Right.
They did.
Right.
And they were asked to leave, and it's heartbreaking.
Right.
I don't understand that. So I don't know how to get involved with that or who to contact, but
Yeah.
I know I am a connector, and
Yes.
you know everything there is about this kind of stuff. And I mean, everybody knows I can't cook.
She cannot cook.
Yeah, that's not my forte. It's
my job.
Listen, everybody has their strengths and
Yes,
weaknesses. I know
yes.
what mine are, and
Right.
I'm not ashamed of them.
Right.
I cannot cook. She's laughing at me.
Yeah.
I can't cook, but she can. But
Yeah.
I can connect people.
Right.
You know.
Right. And that's, I think when people get overwhelmed with, well, I can't fix this. Like, how do I fix hunger? You don't have to fix it. You just have to be thinking like, what could I do? What small thing could I do? My daughter's wedding, we had leftover food trays. And as long as, this is when I first found out about 412 Food Rescue, before I was doing this was like in the very early stages. And I called them and I said, we have, or I texted, I can't remember. We have, 3 trays of, eggplant rollatini and, pasta. And they literally came to the reception at 10 o'clock at night and picked up those trays and then immediately took it, right? Because it's fresh food. It had been held at the right temperatures. It was totally safe to eat, sealed. And they immediately took it to a shelter that needed it.
That's perfect.
Yep.
So it's making that call, just making the call, or doing one food rescue. They have an app. You can just like, if you're like, oh, it's Saturday and I'm already out running errands, you can look for a food rescue and you can be like, oh yeah, I'm near there. I can go to Get Go and pick up, yesterday's sandwiches that didn't sell and take it to, we had a church, we did a food rescue, a friend of mine and it was a church, we delivered stuff from Get Go to a church in Beaver County, like Baden, I think. Tiny, tiny church. And the pastor there said, oh, this is so great. We feed thousands of people out of here. Thousands in Beaver County. I was floored. So there's so much need locally. It doesn't have to be big gestures. You don't have to give up days to volunteer in a food pantry. It's making the connections, right? Making the connection when you're at an event and you're like, oh, there's extra uneaten food that is safe, right? It can't be opened, all of that kind of stuff. They throw it away. Throw it away.
Yeah. You know what I'm thinking. Right?
I know exactly what you're thinking.
Yeah. So it's just a basic human right. And, I have a lot of opinions about the benefits for children in school and school lunches and, people thinking that's a luxury. No kid should be paying for it. First of all, school lunches should be included.
Yes.
Yes. I don't care what your income is. Everybody.
And breakfast.
Yes. Everybody.
So what do you think about the quality of the foods that are being prepared in United States cafeterias?
So I think it's about volume, right?
Yeah.
So I have to prepare, and they're very strict. The school lunch program
Is very
strict in terms of what can be served. And they've made a lot of strides. But yes, I think there's a lot of, we're cooking for a lot of people, young children. We can't have a lot of variety. You can't be, it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if a child goes up to get lunch and the woman or man taking their money says you don't have any money left on your account, so you have to get out of line and go over here and get some like sad sandwich, that
PB&J sandwich, right?
Yep. Which, no shame on PB&J. It's good protein, carbs, all the good stuff. But don't get out of, don't shame a child.
Or make them sit at a separate table because now they have peanut butter.
Yes.
And we have the allergies. So see, we could go forever on this.
I really do. And it's, the Greater Pittsburgh Food Bank, they have now basically a grocery store within the food bank, which is out in like Homestead, Duquesne, I think, like the big, so a food bank is like that. So it's big. It brings in stuff from everywhere. The food pantry, so then they distribute to, I think, like 11 counties. If you ever get a chance, a tour of that, it is mind-boggling. Like it is just giant warehouses of non-perishable
Do they
food.
give tours?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So we're going to have this done. So when this comes out, this podcast, we're going to have all kind of information in the description.
Absolutely.
And we're going to have you help us to organize that. And then we're going to have a day where we take people to go do a tour, because this is the kind of stuff that people should know about. And if we can spread the word about that and help one family, then it's worth it.
Yeah. And what the grocery store on site does, it gives people dignity. So if they have public assistance or, some kind of assistance, or they don't have to pay for it. Like it looks like a tiny Giant Eagle. And I think Giant Eagle is the one who sponsored it or, put money behind it. And it looks like a tiny Giant Eagle. It has brand name stuff. You're not shopping, not any shame on, Dollar Tree, Dollar General, but I can get Heinz ketchup. I can get the things that are normal that my kids want. I can get the cereal my kids like, right?
Yeah, they shouldn't have to use Hunt's.
Oh, hell no.
See?
Yeah.
Dignity.
That's
dignity.
dignity.
Everyone's entitled to Heinz.
That's right. That's a human right. So it gives people dignity. It's like they shop anywhere else, and they are always looking for volunteers there, like to help put bag things, doing shifts of like, and you can take your kids starting at like age like 13, 12 or 13.
I did this with my children actually in the Washington County Food Bank.
Yeah.
Through my employer. And it was the most humbling and amazing experience because not only was there food, there was basic care essentials.
Oh, absolutely. Right.
So we were making boxes and pallets and pallets filled of essentials. And my kids, I think it was a profound moment for them to realize that not everybody has these things.
Right.
And we take it for granted.
Absolutely.
Because you just don't think about, you open the drawer and the toothpaste is there.
Right.
You don't think about it.
Right. You open the door in your bathroom and a Costco size thing of toothpaste is in there, right? Like with 5
Yes.
tubes. Like you don't even think about that. So yes, it's a need. I think the pandemic really put a spotlight on it. People who maybe were on the edge, teetering. That's a really important point to make. This is the food insecurity in this region is not just very, very poor people. It is working class people. It are people who are working 2 jobs, 3 jobs each, and still cannot afford some of the basic things. It is the people who were on the kind of teetering on the line there when COVID happened and things shut down. A lot of service workers, a lot of people who were in retail, and found themselves for the first time ever in line at Heinz Field to get a box of food. God, that's an incredibly humbling experience when you are a hard worker and you have that ethic. So it is, I'm very passionate about it. I'm happy to help you. And we've done through the WLC, we've gone to, we went to Heinz Field. They do it every year where they box kits, meal kits. And it is a well-oiled machine. It's crazy. But we had the opportunity to hear from the head of the food bank through WLC, and then packed up some fresh food items to be able to give out to people. So there are organizations that are doing it, but you can literally just, like I said, connections, right? I'm going to get on their email list. And they send out every week volunteer opportunities.
Perfect.
We're not asking you to do anything more than just, do I have time on Saturday? Maybe I do. And
everybody has time.
Yeah, and that 1 hour, 1, 2 hours, whatever.
Look, if you've got time to binge something on Netflix, you have time to help someone.
And like I said, I work with people who are very busy and committed in their communities and do a lot of things. So I never shame, like, you got your thing you want to do on the weekends, you want to veg out. Absolutely. Your mental health, the ability to kind of relax is super important. But I promise you, spending an afternoon there you get the same boost.
Serotonin goes up,
yes,
right?
Yes, the same mental health benefits of helping. There's science behind it. You are happier and healthier when you're helping other people, or you feel like you're contributing to something.
And like you were saying with you took your kids, it's eye-opening to make sure that you are helping the youth to experience this. I mean, I remember when I was younger, with our church youth group, we went to different shelters downtown, and around Thanksgiving time, although it should be year round, but around that time we did go down and help to serve. Around Christmas time, we went down with little bags that had essentials. But you wonder, like, sometimes when you see people that are unhoused, and they have very long facial hair. Well, it's because they can't afford razors.
Right.
Do you know how expensive that is?
Oh, they're terrible.
Yes,
Every time my husband puts it in the Amazon cart, I'm like, how much are razors?
But that kind of stuff was in the bags. And that's, I'm older now, so it was a long time ago. I don't know if they still put razors in there, but back then it was soap. It was socks.
Yeah.
Socks are the number one thing that they always need. So we're constantly,
Blankets,
getting socks from wherever.
Like just really basic things.
And if you can't physically go somewhere, they always have Amazon wish lists.
Oh,
just
yes,
send it.
Yeah,
that's the easiest way.
That has
to
been
contribute.
a really nice, benefit of technology, right? You can send something directly to an organization right off their list. We used to get things at 412 Food Rescue where we all of a sudden like a random spatula would show up. We were like, wish list item. So it's little things can really be impactful. And that sounds so cliche, like, oh, little things, turn into big things. They do.
Mm-hmm.
You fill 1 hour of, time that the food bank doesn't have to allocate their staff who are dealing with, and this is the same with the United Way, the 211 center. They're taking calls all day, people in crisis. They don't have time to also go and do all these other things that are, happening. So just really, really many opportunities to get involved.
Yeah. Well, we're going to definitely do that.
Yeah. Yay.
I'm excited. It'll be good. And it's, like I said, good to pull other people into it, because a lot of people too, they don't know where to start. They don't have, the connections, or they don't know, like, hey, I want to help, but I don't know how or who to contact.
And they have a lot of like their own professional expertise that can help, right? The United Way has, people doing taxes for other people. Like there's always a way to take what you are comfortable doing and move that into something that can make an impact. And, helping people figure out what to do with that head of cabbage, recipes like, well, yeah. And did you ever see like a head of cabbage? Like it was huge. And I'm thinking, if I got this and I had never, or a rutabaga. Like one time there was like a rutabaga. I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know what to do with it.
Doesn't it go in soups?
I did.
Isn't that what you do? You put them in a soup.
Probably.
It's a soup.
But I was like, what is this? What? What?
So Google image search. Yeah. That's my answer right there.
Like eggplant is an emoji. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people are like that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to shame myself.
I'm not.
I'm okay with that.
But I know that she knows how to cook. Like I know you do.
I love to cook. So, but I will say this: I'm not a baker. My daughter is a phenomenal baker because it's a precise science.
We just had this conversation.
I come from, so my family, they still own a restaurant in Butler, Italian restaurants. My grandfather started it with his brothers, and I cook by like eyeballing it, right? Like I'm like, it needs more garlic, or I think it needs this. I taste things in the middle of cooking and I'm like, no, that's not right. So I will say I love to cook. I'm not somebody, like people will say, oh, what's that recipe? Good luck. That's the recipe. No. I have no idea. I pulled a bunch of stuff. The other thing I learned at 412 was you can really not push the limits of like we would like get spinach and you'd be like, is this, there's always, you just got to trim it, right? Like you just got to work around things. Like now I'm so aware of food waste. And so when I throw something away, I'm like, could I have used that? Like, yeah, there was some pretty gross spinach in my drawer this week. And I was like, oh yeah, no, I can't use it. I feel better about that though. At least it's, it's a plant, but yeah.
It's going back to earth.
Yes.
It's organic materials. There we go. There we go.
But yes, I have my limits.
Now baking, I'm good with baking. It's very precise.
It's patience.
Everything
too.
is measured.
Yeah.
You know exactly what you're supposed to do. There are steps to it.
Yeah.
I can follow directions very well.
Yeah.
Cooking, no, forget it. I just, What is this? Huh?
It's an uncharted territory. Yes. You get to create.
Yes.
And I'm not creative.
Carte blanche. You can just do whatever you want to do. Like, it's amazing.
Do you really want to put me out in the world and go, here, you can do whatever you want to do?
Well, you do it every day, Kelly Frost.
Yes, you do. Look at you. Yeah.
You got to roll me back a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll continue to cook all of our holiday meals. Don't worry.
I love it.
Pudding shots. I got you.
She got that.
Excellent.
Yeah, they sound good.
Everyone likes those.
They're sugar-free, too.
They are keto. They are keto.
They're keto.
So I am looking at the healthy side.
If there was a healthy side.
It's fine.
They are.
No food shame.
All right. So I do try to do a little bit of research on
Okay.
everybody whenever they come on. So I was like just reading a little bit about some of the stuff you've done in the past. And so you have a Peloton?
I do.
So tell me about your Peloton. Do you have fun on this thing, or do you
Yes.
look at it and go, oh, is it like a
I love
release
it.
for you?
Yeah.
It's not a clothes rack.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
No.
Because we've
Step
been
one.
talking about
Yeah.
different kind of exercising.
Yes.
I'm a little bit limited to what I can do.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to do things inside, but I have bought so many things.
Yeah.
And then I either throw them out, give them away.
Right.
I'm the recipient of that.
Yes. And then, people are like, why did you buy that if you were just going to give it to someone? I'm like, well, I had intentions of using it. and either it wasn't right for me or I didn't like it or
Right.
whatever reason. But so I saw Peloton. I keep seeing them, and I'm on the fence.
Yes.
So you like yours? You use it?
I do. So we bought ours in 2017. So we've had it for 7 years. I've done 4,000 workouts on it in 7 years. I just saw that the other day and I was like, wow, first of all, if we've had it for 7 years, I didn't realize it goes very fast. I love it because it works for me. I like working out at home. If I have to get dressed and go to a gym and drive my car, go to a gym, it wouldn't happen. I'm just not that person. So we have always had a home gym, so to speak, a treadmill, a bike, or we had an elliptical at one point. So that's first thing. Like, what is it that you want to do, right? Do you like, do you like going to a gym? Some people are motivated by that, right? They like all the other people and all that kind of stuff. I want to look like a troll, go downstairs, not care. This morning, you should have seen, I was out of workout clothes. I had to put on a tank top that said, I'm here for the pierogies. It was from...
Do you have that? I probably
It's from Steel City. It's amazing. So I put on that,
Okay.
and then like some hodgepodge of workout pants, and I have socks from Aldi.
Oh, no.
I know you love
another
Aldi. I have socks from Aldi, and yeah, so that works for me. So the Peloton was always something that both my husband and I could use. So he likes to cycle outside, mountain bike, all that kind of stuff. So we're like, okay, let's make this investment. And we both use it quite a bit. I have been to the Peloton studio to ride live with my favorite instructors twice.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I was kind of I felt like I was joining a cult at one point. I was like, I was really into it. I'm going to admit that. So I've, as my business has taken off, I've had to pull back. I've had to maybe,
It's not in the office.
I was going to say, don't you have one for the office
I know,
too, and you can
right?
log in?
So I've eased up on that. And, I know better than anyone when something healthy is becoming a little unhealthy.
Okay.
And so it was a lot. Like, it was every day. So you on the Peloton app, there's a calendar, and there are blue dots for every day that you do a workout. And they have tons of workouts. So I do advocate for it because they've got yoga, Pilates, cardio workouts, not just the bike. And I was on like a year and a half streak where I had like a blue dot every day.
Oh, okay.
And I was getting like a
I don't
little.
think that's a problem, though.
No, but it was because I was like it would be 10 o'clock at night, and I would be like, oh, I have to do something, right? And it wasn't it wasn't.
It didn't bring you joy.
Right. I felt like I was like, it was a job. And I was like, I need to stop.
box.
I need to stop doing this. I'm not like, it's stupid. I would get on the bike for 5 minutes and I'd get you know what I mean? It wasn't, it wasn't
checking a box.
yeah. So I pulled back a little bit from that, but yeah, I think, cycling is a great option for people. I tell the story in presentations all the time about people ask me, what's the best workout? Like, where am I, what am I going to do? I'm like, the best workout is one that you like and that you'll actually do. Try everything. I had a friend who was like, they're having a gym crawl. This was like before the pandemic, and it was really cool. So you went to like 4 different fitness studios in the North Hills. One of them was a CrossFit.
Nope.
Torture chamber. So many people are into CrossFit. No shame. I say this every time. A giant tire, a filthy giant tire.
Yes.
The man looked at me and said, you're going to flip that. I said, do you see these nails?
Did you flip the bird?
I'm not flipping. Yeah. If I'm flipping anything, is flipping you off and get back in my car. And then they wanted to put a chain. It was like torture. A chain around my waist with like a cinder block on it and have me run up a hill.
Yeah.
No,
chains
sir.
go around your neck.
No, sir.
Yeah. See, that's just not, I can't.
But there are people who love it and they get really into it. And I'm like, that's their Peloton. That is amazing. But go try things, right? Like I don't love
Agreed.
bar workouts, like the, bar.
Oh, no, I like to go to bars.
Yeah.
Workout.
I like that workout.
Yeah. My right arm's much stronger than my left.
Right. There's just, but here's the good news. There's something for everyone, right?
Yeah.
And the simplest thing you can do is go for a walk.
Yes. For me, that's my meditation.
Simple, effective, one of the best ways to manage your weight. If you've like reached your goal weight, the more you move, you will maintain that. So
the problem with that is it's 21 degrees outside.
I know. Suck it up.
Yeah, I know.
Go put on a hat. Put on some
hat.
gloves. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you don't wear hats. But outside, who cares? You don't even know. Nobody put some sunglasses on. No one will know who it is.
Oh. She likes to look like a troll in her basement.
Oh, I am.
Do we not remember
troll.
when the walking situation happened at the Oval and I showed up with the hat? See, I will go out looking like this. This is the problem. You talk about not going to a gym because of looking like a troll. I
do walk, and I don't look attractive when I walk.
So what?
So when her neighbor and I were walking at South Park at their fairgrounds.
And I felt guilty.
And she was like, I'm not walking. Yeah. So her neighbor has MS. As do I. So we're walking the trail together, and she's telling her husband, I feel bad. My two friends who have MS are walking, and I'm just sitting here. So out of her own guilt, because we did not care, she decides to come. Well, we don't know she's coming. She doesn't tell us. So we're walking the trail, and we're walking, and like off in the distance is this guy who's very strange looking and just staring at us. And her neighbor and I are like, who is that guy? What is he doing? And he's wearing like this crazy getup and his hat and like these huge pants and the sweatshirt and the jacket. And he is just like giving us this eye. And as we get closer, she says to me, like, should we turn around and go back to the cars? Like, I don't know who that is, but he's looking at us really weird. And I'm like, yeah, I'm starting to get uncomfortable. And I'm like, let's just slide over on this side. So as we get closer and closer, it's her. Yeah. And we're
You're
like,
that creepy guy.
I'm a creepy guy.
What are you doing? You scared the shit out of us. And she's like, I feel bad.
I forgot my phone at home. Like I was so like, okay, I have to go.
Yeah.
I have to go because they're there. And now I feel
Right.
guilty. Like I'm the person who linked them together in the first place. And now I'm not there. So I just showed up.
Yeah.
Our heart rate definitely raised.
Yeah, see, I did good.
Perfect.
I did
you
good.
did
right?
your part.
But I
We
couldn't even
finished our
text
lap.
them to let them know it was
Yes.
me. So I'm just sort of standing there waiting, and it was cold out.
Yeah.
Like we did bundle up that day.
Yes. But I looked, as horrible as she did, but we weren't expecting that. So we finished the lap and we were done. Yeah. I was like, well.
My point being is that you don't have to be glamorous to go somewhere and do something,
No,
right?
no.
And if you have it in your heart that you want to go, you don't have to go out and invest in $200 shoes and some special tights, right? Or your leggings. You can go to the Sam's Club or to the Aldi,
Right.
and grab your leggings,
Get
right?
your Aldi gear.
You don't need like these crazy sports bras that and I'm guilty because I buy them.
They just need
they're like $80.
I
can't run.
Yeah, you just need to feel comfortable enough that you're doing something better for yourself and you're making progress and you're not measuring yourself against anybody else. You're your own competition. Right.
Yeah.
So
I think too, it's about what do I feel comfortable in?
Mm-hmm.
If you like big baggy sweats and that, you are able to move in that, I tell people all the time, you should be moving throughout the day. And that's why I always have stretch in my jeans, right? Like I can walk, I can do a squat or two in between meetings or, whatever. You don't have to change. Like you don't have to go upstairs or, bring a bag of clothes with you to, just go walk.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally walking is the best exercise. If people ask me, I'm like, just move, just walk.
Yeah.
and we even have walking paths in our offices.
Yeah.
So we have them measured out now of
Nice.
if you start somewhere, this is how many you can go.
Yeah.
And start competitions and things like that.
Yeah.
So we're down that same path,
Yeah,
right?
It's
Walk.
it's just movement.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. We got to keep moving.
Just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming.
Such good advice.
It is, though, really. All right. Well, we're almost out of time. So I'm gonna read something to you.
Okay.
And you tell me your first instinct on this.
Okay.
Because I thought this was a very great quote myself.
Okay.
So it says, ask for advice, but trust your gut and your brain. It's scary to put yourself out there and risk being judged, but it's the bold and brave people who embrace that fear and still do big that create positive change and lasting impact. What do you think of that?
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
It's 100% true.
Who wrote that? Do you know?
Yes, I did. Yeah, it is. I have a mantra of who cares? People are going to judge you. People are going to think what you're doing is crazy, or I would never do that, or whatever. You are not answering to those people. Who cares what they're thinking? Who cares? Like I said, they're judging you no matter what.
When I read that, I thought, boy, that's really very Brene Brown of you.
Oh,
Truly.
That's a huge compliment. So yeah, I say I have a dear friend who left a very high level job. She has some health concerns, and the job was doing what it did to me 10 years ago. Oh my gosh, yes, 10 years ago this year. And she was hesitant about kind of quitting that lifestyle and doing her own thing. And she was concerned about what people in our circle of professional friends would think. And I was like, girl, who cares? They're not paying your bills. They're not raising your children. They're not dealing with type 1 diabetes. Who cares? Do it. If you and your husband are on the same page, if it's right for you, if it's right for your, the rest of your family, then do it. They're going to talk anyway.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you hit it so hard right there.
I'm going to use that tonight.
As you should.
The hitting it hard or this?
Yeah. The who cares?
Yes. It's very true. Honestly, when I started to read that, I was like, yes, yes, yes. This is all so true. Not a lot of people will say that out loud or live by that.
Yeah.
You have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I presented to a group of nonprofits, and I said, and one of the participants asked me the question, I feel like to take time off, I get judged by my peers, and it's looked at as, oh, like you're weak, or you need to admit to needing some mental health break or self-care is a sign of weakness. And he's like, well, what advice would you give me? And I said, you're not going to like this. I said, but who cares? Like, who gives a shit what they think? I said, unless it's your boss and you have to, you have deadlines. Like, I'm not saying blow off your obligations. Who cares if the lady down the hallway rolls her eyes? And he looked at me like I had said I had solved like whatever. I had solved the most complicated equation. He was like, really? I was like, yes, really.
And I think in our 30s, we don't feel that way. But as we start to age, we understand more of that.
Absolutely.
And it comes with that wisdom, that understanding that, hey, you know what? I don't have to live like that.
Yeah.
This is how I should be living.
Yeah.
However, like I said, not everyone will say that out loud. And that is so brave of you to say that and say it out loud and share it with others. Yeah. Keep sharing that, please.
Yeah. I mean,
you make such a difference in everything that you're doing, from that to, all the wellness, to your company, to everyone that's underneath you. Yeah. Really.
Yeah.
You're doing such phenomenal work.
Wow.
Because you are incredible.
Well, I will say, last thing is, I don't do it alone, right? It's my peers, the women I associate, and I say women. My husband's wonderful. He has always supported me, but no one understands better than another woman what it means to, juggle all of the things that women juggle. And so no one does it alone. And if they do, they're exhausting themselves for no reason. Why? Someone's done it. Someone's succeeded. Find them. Ask them. It's that simple.
Love it. All right. Well, we're going to stop with our frostbite. Jess has a good
I've
question for you.
Oh, I got a good question. You ready? So we often talk about the moments that change us and define us. What was your frostbite moment that transformed your approach to your work or your creativity? What was your aha moment?
When I got sick, when I was working in a job, like I said, that I absolutely loved. I was traveling the country. I was working with executives. I was writing speeches for people who, it was incredible. And I couldn't see. I had this like blurry vision. Of course, you go on Dr. Google and you've got a brain tumor. And I started to have all these weird symptoms. I was saying the other day that one of the symptoms was I could literally fall asleep put my head on my desk at 2 p.m. and be out. Wow. Exhaustion. My hair was falling out. I had all these weird symptoms. And so I kept going to the eye doctor, and I always had a bottle of water with me. And he said to me, we couldn't figure it out. Every treatment would not fix the dry eyes. Like, that's what he said. That's why you're having this halo effect, is your eyes are super dry. So he looked at me and he said, do you always have a bottle of water with you? And I said, yes. I said, my mouth is so dry all the time. He's like, there's something else going on. He's like, you need to see a rheumatologist. He said, I think it's an autoimmune condition. Well, sure enough, my eye doctor, of all people, figured it out after years of just dealing with weird symptoms. So the aha moment was when my rheumatologist said to me, Niki, so I was diagnosed at the time with 2 autoimmune diseases. So rheumatoid arthritis, which I'm now told is pretty much in remission, and Sjogren's syndrome, which is the primary disease, and it affects every gland that produces moisture in your body. Yet I still sweat. So I don't know why that they felt blessed. They blessed me with that. But he said, this is not going to kill you. He said, your lifestyle is. He said, you can't continue this. You can't operate off 4 hours of sleep in multiple time zones in 1 week and not eat well. I was probably 15, maybe 20 pounds lighter than I am now. He's like, you can't sustain this. You can't. I was living on caffeine and wine, quite honestly. And no shame on that. But it got to the point where it was what am I really doing here? Why am I drinking as much as I am while I'm working? No, not while I was working, but on the road. Anyway, so the aha moment was, you can't do this. You can't keep this up. So I highly suggest you adapt your lifestyle. And I did. And I say all the time, knowing how much I would be making right now if I stayed in that job, that hurts sometimes, when you're thinking about, your financial future, but worth every penny.
You may not be here.
Right. If I didn't have a physical breakdown, I was probably going to have a mental breakdown. I was so unhealthy. And on the outside, and that's the last thing I'll say about this, on the outside, I look great. People are like, you look awesome. Have you lost weight? Don't ever comment on people's weight. You'd have no idea what is causing that loss or gain. And everybody likes to be complimented, right? And so I just thought, just keep doing what you're doing. You look great, and it was all facade, inside I was imploding, and it was terrible. And it wasn't, there was stress with the job, but it was more the physical demands of traveling and eating at 10, 11 o'clock at night, or not eating, or so that was my moment. What are you going to do? You're 40. I was 42 at the time, and so really jumped into this when I was 44, and I was like, you got to do something. So here I am.
You look healthy and happy, and we're so glad that you came on the podcast today and shared such great information with us.
Yeah.
And we can't wait to celebrate with you tonight.
I know. I'm so excited.
Yes, absolutely.
So thank you. Wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Well, that's another episode of Frostbites. We had Niki Campbell on today and our beautiful Jessica Rebholz. Stick around, and we will see you guys on the next episode.